Frederick I became King of Prussia in 1701. He desired extravagance and aspired to be compared to Louis XIV, so he demanded to be surrounded with ornate and expensive decor. This demand caused the construction of the Amber Room, which later became a tool for creating peace by uniting Prussia and Russia, as well as an incredible symbol of the power, wealth, and importance of Russian culture and its history. It was also an emblem that represented the intense dedication of the human race to create an artwork that demanded so much time, money, and labor.
The Amber Room was designed by Andreas Schluter. However, Gottfried Wolfram was the first sculptor to start working on the magnificent room. 6 years later, Wolfram was replaced by Gottfried Tarrou and Ernest Schadt, after these disputes over payment. The room was created in panels covered in hand-carved pieces of amber that had been meticulously placed to form intricate mosaics in typical Baroque style. These pieces were extremely detailed and required dedication to even the smallest sections. The ceiling and doors were not excluded from being covered in amber. The room eventually housed objects such as candlesticks and vases that were made of amber as well. The long process of the creation of the Amber Room really exemplifies the extent of human attention to beauty and detail and lives up to its reputation as the eighth wonder of the world.
After Frederick I died, his son, Frederick Wilhelm, became King of Prussia. He saw the unfinished Amber Room as a waste of money and had the 3 finished panels stowed away. During this time, Andreas Schluter, the designer of the Amber Room, died, leaving no description on how the panels were to be put together. In the meantime, Prussia and Russia both had problems with Sweden, and Russia was even in the midst of a long war with them, thus creating an opportunity for an alliance between the two countries.
Objects that were decorated or made of amber flaunted wealth and were often given to royals as incredible gifts. However, an entire room of amber had never been imagined up until this point. So in 1716, Frederick Wilhelm decided to give his unimportant amber panels with the intention of creating close relations between the two countries to the much appreciative Tsar of Russia, Peter the Great, who coveted amber furnishings.
However, the panels were still unfinished, causing them to be put back into storage once they arrived at their new home. Finally, in 1746, after Peter the Great had long passed, his daughter, Elizabeth Petrovna, had the Amber Room installed in the Winter Palace. She had appointed Francisco Rastrelli as the new architect for the room in 1730. He was presented with the task of expanding the Amber Room, since it was too small to be installed where the Empress wanted it. He used mirrored pillars to create the illusion of more amber panels and filled the frames that were originally meant to contain mirrors with Italian paintings, combining Italian techniques with Russian Baroque styles. In 1945, Frederick Wilhelm's son, Frederick II of Prussia, had a 4th panel made and sent to Elizabeth, since there had only been 3 before the construction of the room was halted, further expressing the good relations between the two countries and allowing the room to be finished and displayed in the Winter Palace in 1746.
In 1752, Elizabeth required Rastrelli to move the Amber Room to what is now known as the Catherine Palace. Using more mirrors and with the construction of more amber panels, the Amber Room was once again made larger, while Rastrelli had also replaced the Italian paintings with mosaics made of jasper stones. The room remained there for 178 years, filled with over 500 candles as well as more than 70 other amber items such as cabinets to add to its beauty.
During World War II, Adolf Hitler had many artworks stolen to fulfill his desire to create a museum in Linz to display superior German art. Hitler saw the Amber Room as an example of Germany's might, considering it had been created in Prussia. Knowing that the room was also a symbol of wealth and power, the Germans stole it from Russia in 1941 to demonstrate their dominance and strength. This was a major attack on Russia because of how much pride they held for the Amber Room as a part of their history.
The Amber Room is one of the great treasures of Russian culture, Russian history, and Russian heritage. I've seen anywhere from $140 to $500 million being placed on the value of the original Amber Room.
For a couple years, the Amber Room was on display in the Königsberg Royal Castle Museum, but air raids from the Allied forces required the Amber Room to be moved. Arrangements were postponed, and then finally Dr. Alfred Rode, the museum director, decided the panels should go to a fortress in Rockledge after an air raid had damaged parts of the room due to his reluctance to move the panels. Once Russians reached Königsberg, the room was no longer there. However, the room was not in Rockledge either.
The mystery of the Amber Room's whereabouts is still in question today. Some believe that the room was destroyed by air raids or sank on the ship that was supposed to take it to Königsberg. Others believe the Americans found it and hid it, while some insist that it was hidden in a salt mine that exploded and flooded. If the Americans actually did have the room, it would be a major insult to the Russians and could cause strife between the two countries. And according to Russian journalist John Varoli, many Russians truly believe this theory. If it is true, it has the potential to create arguments about whether or not the room should be given back to Germany, Russia, or stay under the protection of the United States, since both other countries failed to protect it from reported damages during the war before its disappearance. It would be a debate that reflects the Elgin Marbles controversy.
In 1986, the creation of a new Amber Room started, meticulously constructed to ensure that it would be the closest possible replica of the original. In 2003, the new room was presented to the public in the Catherine Palace, but the search for the actual artwork still goes on.
The replica of the Amber Room will never live up to the cultural importance that the original had in Russia. The discovery of the real room would settle the mystery and give Russia a sense of renewed power, as it is a symbol of everything that they lost in the war and of their culture's heritage.